Hey everybody, it's Dak for Shoreless Skies Publishing, and I'm here with my good buddy Matt. And today we are going to be playing the Broken Cask Society. The Broken Cask Society is a GM-less role-playing game for one or more players. We are members of the Broken Cask Society, just adventurous consumers and intrepid imbibers. We go here and there, discovering the great inns of the land, and and enjoying the hospitality. And so we're going to show you, just give you an idea about how the game works, and have a good time doing it. So every game is, because there is no GM, every game is structured using the play outline, which goes through several phases. And I'm going to kind of talk through this a little bit. So it's going to be a little bit, less natural than a regular game would be, because I'm going to kind of be pausing and addressing you, the viewers, from time to time as we play our game. But I think we're still going to have a great story going. So as I said, every game starts with a look at the outline, and at the top of that is the preparation phase. And so Matt and I have our characters sorted out. We got our playbooks here, which I'm sure that's beautiful for you viewers. You cannot see what that is at all. And we've created our characters ahead of time. This is all detailed in the rule book. So we're just kind of ready to jump in and play. And during this phase, we're going to introduce our characters, and then we're going to move on to the other phases and figure out which inn we're going to, and then have a grand adventure. All right, so you ready to go, Matt?
I am ready.
All right, here we go. So I am playing the Pilgrim Playbook. I'm a goblin by the name of Snazbag, but everybody calls him Snaz. And so we find Snaz cramming a lot of stuff into a rumpled old leather satchel. I kind of pick up a bit of lint that I look at longingly and chuck it to the side. And then I find my old walking stick, and I find a piece of parchment with a scrawled picture that I roll up and tuck into my bag as well. So Snaz is a former pig herder who had a very fortuitous day at one point in his life. He had his herd of pigs up there on the hillside, and then down in the valley he saw a famous inn, and decided to go in to quench his thirst. And there he met a very particular he met a recruiter for the Broken Cask Society, and this inn was so special, and the conversation he had with the recruiter was just so mind-blowing that he sold his herd and became a society member. So as Snaz is getting ready to leave, I'm going to go ahead and take my preparation action. So during this phase, any player can optionally take a choice from the preparation table. We've got the random tables for the game pulled up on our screens here, which is just a little bit easier to deal with than printing them all out on paper, at least for me anyway. So looking at the preparation table, Staz is going to make merry and get myself a point of mirth. And of course, we do the thing by doing the thing. Snaz lives alone. So he has kind of a private breakfast, has a little toast of coffee with a bit of brandy in it, and just has a quiet moment to contemplate a few things and prepare himself for the journey ahead. And then with a wistful sigh, he closes the door to his little hut there on the edge of town and begins making his way towards the society house. And now we cut to our next character.
My character is Horatio Higgins, using the Vintner playbook. Horatio is a halfling who is used to the finer things in life, seeing as how he is the board scion of the Higgins Winery, which is a very well-known winery. In fact, they even sell to the king.
The
Not
king,
sure
you
which
say?
king? The king. So Horatio he wakes up in the morning. He has his breakfast. He has servants to, prepare that.
Yeah, I
for
was going to
him.
ask if he's cooking it or if it's been delivered to him.
Oh no, of course not. Why would he cook for himself? He has servants for that. So he has his breakfast. probably something, simple today, like a couple eggs, some toast, a few slices of bacon, maybe a couple sausages, and, roast tomato, maybe. Yeah, something like that. Very simple, down to earth peasant type breakfast for
Yeah.
me. Um, at least that's how he feels.
He's a man of
And
the
then he
people.
sort of kicks back a bit. He relaxes. Um, and so on the table, he's going to take +1 morale, even above max amount for the relaxation. And then he decides, well, he's not got much else to do today. I think I'll head on down to the Broken Cask Society and see what sort of fellow connoisseurs are down there.
So here's what I'm thinking. So you arrive at the society house. I've been there for a little bit. I've been in one. So in my mind, the society house is this kind of big warren. It's of rooms and maps. So it's part museum, part pub, part mad scientist lab. And so in one of the side rooms there's just floor to ceiling books and scrolls and all these kind of things. And there I am, Snazbag, the little goblin, poring over a map. And here's how I see this going down. You can tell me, we can retcon it if you don't like this. Higgins walks in, and I look up from my map and I say, "You wearing that?" And then go back to my map.
Well, it did get a little dirty on the way over, I suppose. I'll brush that off. This is the finest attire. It is made by Jameson the tailor, the finest tailor. I even heard he does tailoring.
Yeah. So I interrupt you. Come here. Come look at this map.
Oh, fine.
And
What,
well, all right. So just over here, I've been looking over these maps, and I was talking to old Orsney, and she said that this is the place we should check out. What are you doing today? You want to go on a trip? What are we even doing here?
Oh, well, I suppose I might as well. I don't have much else to do today.
Very good. So I like the idea that we already kind of know each other. How do you think we met?
We probably met at the society.
Well, I should say I don't think I'd have much to do with a local heir to the wine fortune. So I think it's probably not the place we could have met.
Right. Yeah. No, we definitely would have had to met at the society.
So we're now in the journey phase, excuse me, and we are getting ready to set out. And this is the part of which we learn a little bit more about the inn itself. And there are some options. You can use some of the pre-made ones in the book or online. But we're going to roll on the random tables to find out a little bit more about this inn that we're going to visit. So Snazbag's looking over the map, and it turns out that this inn is located near a spiritual center in a really bustling part of the world. And the actual name of the inn is, of course, the Farming Monk. That's good luck right there. It's a religious center called the Farming Monk. That's perfect.
Oh, how appropriate.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Not really one for these religious places, but I do hear monks make the best beer. That's what Orsney was saying. We got to go check this out.
Yes,
So
I would agree. Beer is such a vile beverage, but it can be good.
Hey, speaking of which, you bring any of your old man's wine for the road?
Oh, well, I did bring a bottle or two, I
Very good.
suppose. Share.
All right, so I'm writing down the inn information. It's called the Farming Monk. It's going to take us 2 days to get there. And we are going to have to traverse the riverlands. The dreaded riverland. I don't know. I don't know anything about this.
That doesn't sound too bad.
That doesn't sound so bad.
Rivers are nice.
Yeah, love a riverland. All right. And at this point, we do have the chance to randomly roll for a departure event, which I think I'm going to do. Why not? There are some potentially negative things that could happen here, but I'll go ahead and take my action if that's all right with you, Higgins, and then you can go ahead and take yours if you like. So I'm rolling 1d6 on the departure event table. I rolled a 5. Ooh, it says a retiring society member offers you their rusty weapon. Who are they? You can spend this weapon to take +1 on any appropriate test. So I think as we are getting ready to go and looking over the maps and just, talking about this journey we're about to take, who pops in? I feel like I've been kind of bogarting the narrative here. So if you're up for making a character on the fly, who pops their head in and offers me their old trusty weapon?
Biffle Bondeldorf, the bumbling dwarf, trips his way into the door. We mostly tolerate him, by the way, because he is quite old and venerable, and he also has a lot of money. Unfortunately, the blows to the head that it took to get that money have not served him well in his old age.
Oh, Biffle, what do you want? We're trying to get ready to go here.
Oh, where are you going?
Oh, you wouldn't know it, but it's called the Farming Monk. We have to go over the Riverlands, so we're trying to get ready here, okay?
Oh, well, I was just going through my treasures, and I thought I might bring by this this sword that I got in the caves of Sally Duel.
Snaz's ears perk up at that Sally Duel. All of a sudden, he's interested.
Yes. Oh, I got those ears coming on. Well, I suppose if you would like, it might be a good idea to bring some protection on the road. So, and he pulls out a rusty old sword.
Snazbag leaps out of the way for fear of being chopped by the rusty. We don't need another case of tetanus here at the society. We reached our quota for this month.
Ah, yes.
So,
terrible way for him to go.
Well, he was due. So what do you with that sword there? You're passing that on or something?
Oh yes, yes. I thought I'd share the wealth, as it were.
Oh, thank you so much, Biff. All right, off you go. Thank you. We're gonna finish getting ready. All right. Ooh, look at this sword. Oh my gosh, it's so rusty. All right, off you go. And I just kind of take the sheath, stick it on my belt. It's a bit too long for me, but he is a dwarf, so it's not too long. And then just get out of here, Biff. All right, stick it on my belt. And that is my departure event. A visit from Biffle Bufflebore. Bufflebore? What was it? That was too good. Fired from the hip. That was good.
Dwarf, I think it was. All right. I think Horatio is going to have a departure event as well. Ooh. Reports of nasty weather come your way. What is going on? Take disadvantage when you roll on an adventure table.
Maybe Biffle had some parting words as I was hastily shoving him out the door. He says something like, "Oh, don't forget there's flooding in the Riverlands this time of year." Maybe something like that.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I heard the rumors. The rivers are flooding. Lots of rain.
Yeah, old man. All right, on you go.
All right. Well, that's disconcerting. Well, nothing ventured, nothing lost, I suppose.
That's what I always say. Now we got this sword. I mean, I don't know much about sword play, but it's got to be somewhat useful. Let's see. We ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready to hit the road, as they say.
Oh boy. All right, so we are exiting the town in which the Broken Cask Society house is nestled, and we're moving on through the Riverlands to our destination. Would you like to take the helm here, Matt, and kind of describe our first bit of journeying before we have an adventure?
Sure. All right, so we set out on the road. now the town that we're in, I suppose, would be where's that? Here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a random roll. It's set in a pleasant mountainous region. So we've got to, get down to the riverlands, which will be, down from
Yeah,
the mountains, of course. In fact, we are walking alongside a river. It's more of a creek at this point, but it will
sure.
get a little more impressive as we get closer to the ground. Um, so it's a bit rocky, but we're not so high up that there's not vegetation. There's trees, there's greenery, there's shrubs. The vegetation gets more dense as we head down to lower altitudes.
Very nice. And I'm gonna go ahead and roll for our first adventure here, and this is gonna be.
Now, does my
Oh, go on.
advantage on the adventure roll count towards you rolling?
Yeah, that would apply to. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and yeah, it applies to any roll that happens on the adventure table. So I've only rolled for the time of day. Our adventure is going to happen at about midday. So would you, since you're the poor soul with disadvantage, would you like to go ahead and roll on the Riverlands table?
All right.
And this and typically disadvantage for those playing along at home. Disadvantage is, if you were making an action roll, is obviously the lower roll. Disadvantage in the case of something like this, we roll on a table, is just going to be whatever's the more challenging roll, the less fortuitous roll. So take it away. What's happening in the Riverlands today?
Oh dear.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear. Oh dear. So we get down the mountains without any problem. It's a nice, easy journey. It's nice weather, although we can see, the dark clouds off in the distance where we're heading towards. As we get towards those dark clouds and get into the more riverland area, a bog white appears.
Oh boy.
And seems eager to chat. All right, now what is a bog white in this?
So as any Tolkien nerd will know, a white is a spectral being, sort of a ghost. And so I'm imagining like you said, we get down through the hills off the mountain down towards the Riverland, and it's a bit swampy. And then I kind of imagine this as a sort of green, muddy, this kind of like green, how would you describe that? Like almost bioluminescent. That's the fancy college word I was thinking of. This form appears, and he's like, oh, and Snazbag jumps back like, oh my god, a ghost. And then the white says, hey, any of you chaps got a light? And pulls out like a big cigar. Where are you off to?
I pull out, of course, I would have a lighter.
Hey, sir. Very kind of you.
I offer the ghost, but it doesn't really do anything because it's physical.
He doesn't seem to notice. And so he's going to go on and on and on. Just go on about the weather. Like, oh, can you believe it floods this time of year? Just stuff like that. And then like you and I kind of look at each other. If we had a watch, we'd be doing this number here. How do we got to find a way to break away from this conversation. So this is our first kind of test of our journey. As a pilgrim, I do have +1 in the heart score. Okay. And so I could kind of take the lead here. On any of these tests, while we're on an adventure, both of us could go ahead and roll just to kind of see what happens. Or we can agree that one of us is going to take charge here. So Snaz might have an idea about how to move this conversation along, unless you want to jump in as well.
He seems like a rather earthly sort, and you seem like a rather earthly sort, and so I suppose I'll let the two more earthly fellows discuss things.
So what I'm going to do here is every time you make a test, you have options. If you have mirth, you can spend that to potentially boost your roll. If there's a way to use any of your moves, your class moves, you can use those as well. But I think for now, I'm just going to go ahead and make my roll with my +1 to my heart score. So I'm going to roll 1d6. I'm going to add 1 for my heart score, my heart stat. And Snaz looks at this white who's just going on and on and on, and he says, "Hey, there's some more adventurers coming. There's some more of our people coming down the road here. I mean, I think, this one guy, his name's Biff. He loves to hear a good story. So we got to go here. Man, you're just a lovely conversationalist. I think you should save some of this for whatever Biff comes here." And I'm gonna roll to see if my ruse lands or not. It does not. Okay, so I rolled a 2 plus 1 is a 3. This is an H4 test, so I need to roll a 4. So our options are to take the miss here, or I have some options at my disposal. If we miss, then we have to add a journey, which means another adventure, which means another potential catastrophe. So do we want to take that and potentially add another day to our journey, or should I re-roll here? You got any thoughts?
Well,
I'm kind of eager to get going.
yeah, I kind of am too. I think. What do you got for being able to re-roll here?
So I got a point of mirth, which is going to allow me to. I have to spend that to invoke the expertise move, which means I can call upon one of my traits to re-roll. And let's see. The 2 traits I have now, because we just started, is I'm petty. And I used to be a pig herd, which as I mentioned before. And so here's what I think happens. Let's see. How am I going to make this work with my character here? I think that all right, here's what I got. So
Okay.
I mentioned these new other adventures coming as I'm talking to this chatty ghost. And he's like, oh no, it's fine. I'll just keep, I got plenty of stories. I'll talk to them when they come by. And then I start to sweat a little bit. You see a single bead of sweat coming down on my goblin forehead. Pew! And I remember my shepherding days. And there was a way to make a call that I could trick the pigs. And I could make it echo, and the pigs would be like, what's that over there? Which may work on the ghost here and give us an opportunity to leave. So I'm going to turn my head like I have to cough, but I'm going to make my pig call sound, and we'll see if that's enough to distract this guy. And I rolled a 6. Very good. So that's going to be enough to be a hit for our test here. And the table tells us that it says you're able to catch them up on the recent news from outside. They offer a shortcut. We can spend gear to skip the last day of our journey. So I make the call, and he goes, what was that? And I said, I think there's some more people coming. He says, oh, all right. Well, you guys have been great. There's another way you can take. If you go blah, 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 if you jump over the river and go through the woods, you might save some time. We said, thank you very much, sir. And he scurries off to go bother whoever he thinks is coming through the riverlands. Whew. We dodged that guy. Gosh, that guy was chatty. So what do you think? Should we take the shortcut he offered and shave a day off of our journey so we can go ahead and get to the inn? Or do you want to see what the road can bring us?
I think for suffering that incredibly boring
Oh, it's boring.
we might as well get something for our efforts. I say we take the shortcut, and I suppose no one's ever gone wrong trusting a ghost.
Yeah, no, my uncle, a ghost introduced him to his wife. It was amazing. All right.
Oh,
I'll tell you the story on the way. And so the table tells us that we have to spend a point of gear. So on my playbook here, I've erased. We each start with 3 points of gear, so I've erased one of those, which Higgins will do as well. And that's kind of meant to represent how we're carrying on a little later than we intended to. We need to use our gear to keep us on our feet. But we are rewarded at the end of the day as the sun begins to set. We ford the last little creek of these riverlands, and in a copse of wood, we find the twinkling lights of the farming monk. Before we can properly arrive at the end, though, we move on to the journey's end. And what we're going to do is, roll on the table, and for every successful adventure we have, we take +1. For every misadventure we have, where we fail to roll, we take -1. We only had one adventure, which we succeeded in, thanks to my patented pig call. And so we will each roll on the Journey's End table and add 1 to our roll, just to see what kind of toll the journey has taken on us.
All right.
Very quick journey. All right. So, oh, no. All right. I'll get mine out of the way because mine was quite fine. So Stas is totally fine. He emerges from the woods, takes a big sniff of forest air, and is feeling very good about his adventure and the way he handled it. So I rolled a 4 + 1 is 5, so I get to gain another point of mirth, which might come in handy later. What happens with Higgins?
Higgins has had a much more difficult time getting through these woods. Probably on account of, whereas I'm sure that, oh shoot, the goblin.
Snazbag.
Snaz, thank you. Snaz is thin and healthy and spry. Higgins is rather fat.
Not used to life on the road.
No, he's used to the good life. So Higgins has had a rather rough time getting through the woods, and comes out covered in brambles and twigs and bird nest on his head, and just huffing and puffing. His face is all red. And oh,
How you doing there, Higgs? You ready? We're almost there.
give me a moment. It's a more difficult walk than taking the road.
That's true.
Okay. Well, a second. Get cleaned up at the end. I'm sure these monks know how to keep things nice.
Like they do, you're dusting off your designer tunic as you, as you head into town. So when we were rolling to figure out where we were going, the descriptor I rolled was bustling. And so I think the town we're coming on is a little bit rustic because it's in the middle of these riverlands. Maybe like, I don't know, you can jump in here if you got some ideas, but I imagine like some palisades maybe around it. But then kind of a nice, mostly almost like medieval, like cottages and stone and wood, those kind of warm, cozy tones as we make our way inside to find the farming monk.
Yeah, I'm thinking, especially since it said it's near a spiritual center, that given the name of the town of the inn, one would assume this must be the monastery. Town is built next to.
Do you think there's like a special relic or like some kind of magical item there, or you think it's just the monastery? It's the inn / monastery itself is the spiritual center.
Well, I think the monastery is the spiritual center. The inn, I don't know. Is the inn actually connected to the monastery, or is it a part of the town? They just called it that because of the pilgrims that come to visit the monastery.
Yeah, that makes sense. We'll go with that. Yeah. We'll go with that.
None of the monks actually farm, though. They brew beer and trade for their food.
As it should be. I'm getting excited. I myself, I want to go buy some polliner or something. Have some monk's beer. So as we arrive, we head into the little town, and I think up on the hill we can see the lights of the monastery. Maybe we even hear some chanting to the beer gods or something happening as we begin to find our way to the farming monk. I'm gonna roll again to find out some more about the inn. Okay, so I'm rolling on some more random tables, and the inn itself is kind of nondescript. It looks a lot like the other buildings in town. It's just much taller and bigger. There's a friendly sign hanging down. What do you think the sign for the farming monk looks like?
I think it looks like a it's square sign with an engraving of a man in sort of the monkish robes, holding maybe a scythe or some sort of farming implement like that. A couple little lines to indicate the wheat. It says in nice script, "The Farming Monk."
Mm-hmm. And we step inside, and the table tells us that this is a rather large mead hall with a big central fireplace. So the floor is all not cobblestone, but like flagstones kind of stuck together, uh, and it's almost like a square around this big central fireplace. And I imagine there are spits of animals and roasting vegetables and roasting fruits and things like that, just kind of over the big fire and the smells fill the air. And again, the descriptor we got was bustling, so I think especially this time of night, it's a bit busy. I'm gonna roll a few more to
All right.
find out some more about the inn, and then I'm gonna pass it back to you to describe our arrival and what happens next. So, the table tells us that there is a pet dog about who seems to believe it runs the place. So this little old hound comes up to us, sniffs us, looks at us with glaring disapproval, and then maybe trots back to the bar to alert the innkeeper. And now we're going to find out the prestige level. This is actually going to be important.
Definitely for me.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, I rolled a 4, which says this is the region's finest. So this is a level 4 inn. The effect
Excellent.
is that we take advantage when you roll on the table to discover the specialties, which we'll talk more about in a second. How does this affect you, my good vintner?
Well, I took the move exquisite taste. Or do we check one, or do we just take the automatically checked one? Do we check it all?
That's a good point, because I'm sure people watching at home have the same question. My my wife had the same question the other day when we were looking over the stuff. The one that's automatically checked is sort of like your foil, your bad move, and then you get to pick one of the others.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That's what I thought. Just double checking.
yeah.
So yeah, I picked the exquisite taste. So I take advantage forward at any inn with prestige 3 to 6. Take disadvantage forward at an inn of prestige 1 to 2.
And this might be rough for me because I have kind of the opposite. My foil, my bad move, says that I'm too used to sleeping on the ground. So I'm going to take -1 when we rest at this prestige 4 inn. But the good news is I was waiting for this to come up in the game, but I selected the friend to beasts move, which means anytime there's a test involving an animal, I could potentially get a little bit of an advantage. So maybe that dog will come back and to my advantage. Okay, so it is a prestige level 4 mead hall, basically. And when we arrive, we need to find out what the specialty of the house is. This is going to be sort of the dish that the inn is known for. And we take, advantage when we roll on this. We're going to pick the one that might suit us best. So I'm thinking that would probably be the wine, right? For our vintner.
That would definitely suit me best.
All right, so I rolled a 6, which is the desserts, and a 2, which is the wine. So are we going with... well, okay, so we must choose this course, and we take we take disadvantage on the specialty, because it's always a little bit weird. It's always a little bit harder to enjoy when...
Oh.
In this case. So do we want to go with the wine or the desserts?
Take it, because we got Regent's Finest. It says take advantage when you roll on the table to discover this in specialties.
Right, and which is, yes, and then when we pick the specialty, and then when we have our feast here in just a second, this is the course where we have to take a disadvantage on. This is going to be sort of like the harder course.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. I'm good with either, so I'll leave it to your refined tastes, good sir.
Well, the wine would play in, I think, better with my character, although at the same time, I think, didn't we already say that the monks mainly brew ale?
Yeah, we can still, in that case, we can go ahead and pick the ale. I think that makes sense. We're not slaves to the dice, so we want to say the ale is the specialty.
All right. The ale is experimental. Got some rather creative monks, I suppose. Trying new things, adding unknown ingredients to the ale.
Probably get a little bored up there.
You have a spiritual experience yourself. I can smell colors.
All right. And also, when we arrive at the inn, we have to roll to find out what happens. So would you like to be first to roll on the arrival event?
All right. The arrival event. Let's say 1d6. Boom, boom, boom. There is something odd happening on the events table. See the in event table here.
Mm-hmm.
So 2, 6. Do 8. All right, so this is a Heart 5 event. Some rowdy singing has broken out. Well, that certainly fits with the setting we set. It's cheerful but distracting. What do we do?
I jerked my thumb over at the people crowded around the bar singing. You know this song?
Oh, no, I don't think I do. It's rather bawdy for such a monkish establishment.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I kind of just want to sit down and eat, but it's ringing in my ears. What are we going to do about this?
Hmm. I suppose I could go try and talk to them.
Yeah, you do that. I'll go get us a table.
So I kind of hurry over to the group of rowdy singers at the bar. And, oh, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. You are very loud. Do you think maybe you could sing a little quieter, or maybe sing outside? That would be nice.
Singing with Snyder, yeah, that's this guy. The rest of them don't stop, but one guy sticks his head out from the crowd. Oh, Snyder, yeah, he sounds really good. We love singing with Snyder. Come on, join us.
Oh, no. We just want to have a nice quiet meal, and the song is very, very loud and honestly a little bit offensive, if I must say.
It ignores you and goes back to singing.
I don't think the innkeeper's mother would appreciate being spoken to like that. That line was actually shocking. All right. Let's see. So this is a Heart 5. Get a +1 on hearts. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my roll here.
Okay.
I got a 2.
Oof.
So that is a miss. Now it's just annoying. Take disadvantage forward. So I kind of slink back to Snaz in defeat.
Great job quieting them down there. Good job.
I don't think they could really hear me even.
All right. Well, I can't hear you now. They're so loud.
What?
Okay. We're going to move on to the feasting phase now, even though we will both take disadvantage forward because of the rowdy singing. Although you get advantage, so well, we'll talk about that in a second. So now we kind of have to pick our courses here. We do have to choose the ale because that's a specialty. But I'm kind of looking at the big board on the wall behind the bar, and I can kind of see the different options there. We need 6 total, so we got to do the ale, and then the rest we can kind of do in any combination. So our options would include aperitifs, wine, soft drinks, entrees, and desserts. So we got to try the ale. What else are you feeling this fine evening?
Definitely the aperitif.
Mm-hmm.
And an entree.
Nappies and nappies.
And yeah, let's go ahead with the dessert as well. We need 2 more, so I guess that would be wine and soft drinks. That's
You want to make it a nice, well-rounded meal. You don't want to have 5 desserts. That's good. We'll get a little sampling of everything.
Yeah, we'll do a sampling of that.
Yes. So I
say we could do multiple effort.
A little tapas, a little small plate action.
Yeah, there we go. Just do do an ale and then 5 aperitifs. This is a tapas, please.
That would play well into our the joke about us not being able to hear anything because they're singing so loudly. All right. So, anyways, let's start with the aperitifs. And so the way the feasting phase works is we roll D66 on the table to find out exactly what we're going to eat, and then, or drink in this case. And then we roll again to test, and then if we succeed, or if we test individually. So whoever succeeds gets to mark a point of mirth, just kind of shows their growing good cheer and happiness as the feast moves forward. And if not, we mark XP because we always learn from our mistakes. But then we have to roll on the reaction course, the reaction table, just in case things aren't sitting quite right. So we do take disadvantage forward because the singing is so loud, it makes it hard to enjoy the meal. However, I think you could use your advantage forward to, you get to choose because you do have your advantage forward from your move, but we also have the disadvantage because of the singing. So you can kind of choose when if you're gonna use the advantage first or the disadvantage. But I'll let you think about that while I roll to see what kind of aperitif they're bringing out. So I roll on the table. I've rolled a 24. And so the waiter pushes their way through the rowdy singing crowd, and then lays down the first aperitif, which is of course the spring onion omelet. It smells good, and this is a B3 test. So Snaz, unfortunately, I got to take disadvantage. So I'm going to tuck in, just kind of shrug off the singing, take a bite, and I have 0 for my body stat. I have rolled a 2, so I could spend my point of mirth to re-roll or do something else, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to take the miss in this case. So every time we take a miss during the feast, we are going to, like I said, mark XP, and then roll on the react table.
All right. So now I need to also roll for my team, right?
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and go with the disadvantage this time. So body 3. I got a 4, but my body stat is -1, so that brings me down to a 3, but that just barely gets it. So I give it a sniff. I'm tuck in. It's like, oh yes, these omelettes are very adequate. Yes.
Yeah, adequate's the word. I kind of look at it, frown, put it down, shove the plate away. Luckily, on the react table, I did roll a 6, so there was no negative effect. The eggs are thoroughly cooked.
All right. So I take a point of mirth. And, it occurs to me, by the way, the exquisite taste, take advantage forward. I probably should have used that advantage when I was trying to break up the singing. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. So I guess we'll bank that and maybe I use it later.
Yeah.
But I would also suggest that since we both had disadvantage on that roll due to the singing, as we're finishing up the omelet, there's a sudden commotion from the bar. And we look over and we see the dog has grabbed the trouser leg of the loudest of the singers and has started shaking his head and pulling at it, and the singer kind of falls off of his stool onto the ground, and everyone laughs. And
such a boy. Good boy.
He gets up and wanders off to the back or something, probably going to find the bathroom or something, and the singing kind of dies down.
Oh, I think it was ever gonna end. Remind me to buy that dog a drink.
Nice, quiet meal.
Now maybe I can enjoy the next round.
What are we having for the next round, anyway? I think, suppose it would be time for some of that monkish ale. I'm not really excited to try it, but it will be an interesting experience.
Well, if you don't like it, I'll have yours. It sounds excellent.
And the waiter comes out with a couple mugs, and says, waiter, could you tell us, please, what ale is it that we're having today? And the waiter, well, this is the Badger Boxer. It's named after one of the monks pets. You see, thank you very much, good man. He goes back.
Oh, it smells so good. Doesn't I was worried it might smell like a badger. Luckily, it doesn't.
All right, so I guess I'll be using my advantage on this one then.
Right. Let's see.
Oh,
What was the
okay.
test on that one? I can't find it.
Body 2.
B2. Okay. All right. Badger buck. I'll let you go ahead and resolve your roll, then I'll go.
All right, so. All right, I'm going ahead and using that advantage I should have used earlier, which is good because I got a 1 on one of my dice, but I got a 6 on the other dice.
There it is.
-1 that give me a 5. So, sip the ale, and I am shocked and surprised. I like it. I was fully expecting to suggest offering this to the dog, but I like it.
Stick with me, Higgins, old boy. You'll learn a thing or two. And I raise my mug for a toast.
Toast.
To the badger. Almost makes me want to sing. Don't worry, we're not going to do that. Oh,
No,
I see
no.
the... Oh, wait, I was supposed to take disadvantage. Oh, no. Oh, no. Phew, all right, I still made my roll. Let the mirth continue. All right, so anyway, we're supping on our delicious ale. And I say, it looks like the next round's coming. So I'm going to roll to find out what the entree is. And the guys who used to be singing are just looking around furtively, waiting for the dog to come back for another chomp. But what comes out of the kitchen is not our defensive dog, but it is, of course, roast vegetable wraps with Hydra sauce. And so it's a different server this time. This is a dwarf. They bring out this big platter, vegetable wraps with Hydra sauce. I smell it. I've never seen a Hydra before. Have you ever seen a Hydra? I didn't even think they were real.
Oh, I haven't, no, but I've heard stories. I don't know. I suppose they must be real.
I mean, well, let's give it a taste, and we'll see if it tastes like, what you imagine a Hydra might taste like a badger. I don't know.
Oh, I would assume chicken, but...
All right, this is an M2, and let's see. Yeah, we're good. I don't think I have anything on my sheet. I don't think that sword I got at the beginning of the game is going to be super helpful, so I'm just going to go ahead and roll. I've rolled a 3, which is enough to hit, so I mark mirth. And I've got 3 mirth now, so I'm loaded up on this sort of bonus currency, so I can't take any more, which means I should probably start spending them here in a second. So anyway, I'm like, tastes like it's very salty. What do you think?
It is. Pleasantly so.
Take it you got a hit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a hit as well. I also rolled a 3.
All right, hold on. I'm going to write this down. So I get out, reach into my satchel, pull out a little notebook, and I jot down some notes about the flavor profile. I'm going to say, the boys back in the society house, they're going to love this. Hold on, let me write this down. I'll write down a few ideas.
It doesn't quite taste like chicken. It's, it's a little more...
Wait a second. I pull out like some kind of tentacle thing and flick it off to the side. Do hydras have tentacles?
I don't know. I suppose they could. I don't see why not.
All right, so we've got the wine, the soft drinks, and the desserts next. What's the next phase of our feast going to be?
That's what this reminds me of. It tastes like frog's leg.
All right, I say we call for the wine next. All right, I would like this ale so much. I already drank it down. Would you like to order the wine since you're the expert over there, Mr. Fancy Pants?
Yes. And I signal to the server, could you please bring us a couple glasses of your finest wine? Server kind of
rolls his eyes.
And, boy, comes back with a hard to port.
Hmm.
That is a Part 6 test.
Heart 6. Oh boy.
Now, this is where my hyper analytical, I think, will come into play. Whenever you test involving wine, take +1 forward. However, if you miss any test involving wine, take disadvantage when you next roll on the arrest table.
Hmm. Yeah, it's hard to have a good night's rest when you're just mulling over the flavor profile in your imagination. Where did we go wrong? So here comes the port. Give it.
Or that's good dessert wine.
All right. You could use something
Sniff
sweet
it.
after all that. That salty Hydra head.
Yep.
H6. Oh boy. I'm going to go ahead and spend a point of mirth to use my consideration move, which is going to give me +1 on this roll before we even make the roll. So I take my time, smell the port. I can't remember the last time I had port. What do I need to know about this?
So I definitely failed that roll. So I'm going to spend a point of mirth myself.
Okay, yeah, you go ahead and resolve your roll, then I'll go.
To use my expertise as a board winery heir.
Of course.
Kind of wasn't quite right. Let me swirl it around a bit. Let some air get into it. Give it a good sniff. Kind of maybe do something to cleanse my palate. Maybe I know a little trick to kind of cleanse my palate without having water with me or whatever.
You grew up in wine country. That only makes sense.
Yes, of course. And I take another taste.
I'm like, I was about to take a sip, then I see you having a hard time with this, and I'm like, what's going on?
Well,
stick to the ale.
I'm not quite sure what to make of this.
All right, hold on. Sorry. So I'm like, I gotta take a sip. This is killing me. I rolled a 1. Even with my bonuses, that's only a 3. So I'm like, oh god, oh. All right, sorry, I interrupted your roll. You can finish up.
No, you can go ahead and have your.
Did you fail your second roll? Your re-roll?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I'm gonna take a point of XP there, and I got to roll on the react table. So before I proceed on with the role play, I'll see what my reaction is.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
It's not sitting quite right.
Oh,
roll
boy.
on a 1 to 2. Take -1 morale. Oh boy. 5. Okay, so I don't lose any morale, but this I think the dog might have peed in this.
Oh, these dogs. And then
something it's wrong.
it's just wrong. It's not wrong, but it's just not right. All right, so I rolled on the react table that we were interrupted at exactly the wrong time by a fellow society member, potentially a rival. And to roll on the interference table, I rolled a 1, which says they are chatting you up incessantly and spoiling your mood. Take disadvantage forward. All right, so I mark my XP because I missed that roll. And then I guess it's my turn to create a character. So I'm actually just going to...
I had an idea.
Actually. Oh, you got an idea? Oh, yeah, go for it.
Okay. A wizened old dwarf stumbles up to the table.
Oh, no.
Oh, Spaz, good man. How's that sword I lent you?
Oh, Biff. Oh, Biff. You got me right at the... Biff, you're spoiling the mood here. I mean, hey,
not spoiling the mood. I ran into this white on the way. He would not shut up. He said he saw you, though.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He described you to a T. And I said,
Uh,
oh, yes, that's my good friend Spaz. And I told him where you live, by the way. I told him,
oh, Biff, you're
where
killing
your
me over here.
pig place
Here,
is.
try. No, shoot, try the brandy or try the port. Try the port.
That's quite nice. Thank you.
And I'm
And
just
he
so mad. I'm just so mad
turns
that
around and walks.
he interrupted us and that he likes the port that I'm gonna take disadvantage for. So I'm gonna mark that so I don't forget. That was excellent. Oh, Biff. All right, Biff. All right, go on. You go sit back down and we'll talk later.
He's heading back, yes, and he trips over his own feet and falls and spills the rest of it.
And
Oh,
the dog trots over and starts lapping it up.
and then it starts whimpering and runs off.
All right, so we got the wine, we have the dessert, and the soft drink. All right, I really need something here to clean this up. All right, look, the waiter's not even giving us any attention, so I'm gonna walk over there, hop gingerly over Biff, and then speak to the innkeeper to have them bring out the dessert and the soft drink. Hop back over Biff, trying not to trip on his beard. Sit back down, and I'll go ahead and roll for the soft drink here. See what we're gonna get. We need something to clear the palate. That's the thing that you people do, right? Clearing the palate, isn't that what you fancy pants kind of guys do?
Yeah, so usually you do that before you taste the wine, but I don't think that would have helped.
Yeah. So I've rolled a 14, which is sparkling cactus water. I don't even know what kind of a bottle sparkling cactus water would come in. So I think the guy just sets down, sets down two highball glasses of some yellowish, greenish juice with some fizzies in it. Doesn't smell so bad. You want to try it first?
Oh, give it a go. It's
This is a B2 test.
B2. And I rolled a 5.
Hey, look at
minus
that.
1 is a 4, so that is a pass.
All right, let's see.
This is quite refreshing.
Rolled a 3 as well. Oh, this is why we came here. We got your good ale, you got your Hydra. We're really living here. All right, let's see. Bring on the dessert. I'm so excited now. Would you like to roll for dessert or shall I?
You can go for the dessert.
Okay. All right, for the pièce de résistance, we are going to be having worm caviar with shaved sugarcane. This is a B6. This is a big one. So it's just it's like a pewter bowl with these like slimy gray dots in there with just like a sprinkling of sugar on top, and it just doesn't look quite right. I don't know. Maybe these monastics worship some kind of worm god, and this is kind of a specialty or something. I don't know.
I think this is an ascetic endeavor.
This is the penance. When you say the prayers wrong, you have to eat this junk. All right. Well, this is what we're here for. This is why we're the society. We're blazing the trail. Now, okay. So I'm gonna really stretch the rules here because I have the friend to beasts move. And technically, this involves animals, right? Like worm caviar. So what that means is I get to make a test, and if I hit the test, that allows me to succeed for free on this course. So I'm gonna see if that's gonna be the case here, and then I will deftly finagle the story to work and make this jump work. Okay, so I rolled a 3 + 1 is 4, so that succeeds in the test to activate my move. So skip the test as if you had succeeded and explain what the animal has told you. I'm really bending the rules on this one. If you can't tell people watching at home, this is loosey-goosey. It's really okay. The game's about telling a good story, not following the rules to a T. So I'm going to look at them and take the worm caviar. Like, oh yeah, I remember this. So, all right. So one time I'm going to tell you a little story here. One time I was traveling with my pigs. I took them over Mount Palunk, you know the one. Maybe you call it something different, but anyway. And man, we got caught up in this storm, There was just wind blowing everywhere. My favorite pig, Sally, nearly died. The pigs are huddled together on this cliffside. It was a real problem. And we were running out of food. And so what do I spy but this little crevice in which is a whole bunch of worms? And I gave one to Sally. She didn't die, so I said, all right, what's good for the pig is good for the goblin, as we all say. And I really developed a taste for the worms and their eggs. It's really something. Yeah, you got to try it. Try it.
Should keep the story to tell for that bog wipe.
Oh, don't remind me. Ugh.
Yes.
I bet he's going to
Now,
come right
normally,
during my weekly bridge game.
normally Horatio doesn't really have a whole lot of patience for Spaz's or Snazz's, sorry, pig farming stories. He's just not interested at all in pig farming. But in this case, he's happy to listen because it puts off the inevitable having to try the dish. But unfortunately, Snaz has finished his story.
And now it's just you and the caviar.
Takes a spoonful of the caviar. I had fish caviar. It was delicious. Not that different, right?
No, not at all. I mean, I've never had fish caviar, but I would imagine it's not too different. What's one egg from another?
Oh. There's actually quite a lot in that. I'll tell you another time. I really don't want chicken and quail eggs to be spoiled by the thought of this. Well,
Bottoms up.
as they say. Oh. Go ahead and roll on the react table. So something is distracting you from this course. That actually sounds like a good thing in this case. Roll on the in events table. So let me get back up to the in event table here. So I plop the spoon in my mouth and oh my, and it's in that place where it's so vile. I can't make myself swallow it.
Oh no.
But I'm too well mannered to spit it out. And I'm just kind of moving it around in my mouth, trying my best not to taste it while I try to figure out what to do now. This is absolutely horrible. Fortunately for me, 2d6, that's an 8. The fellow that got dragged off to the bathroom by the dog comes back out, sits back at the bar,
just hits a B flat.
Veil. Fellows, and they start singing up a storm again, and it's the combination between the singing and the taste. Something's got to go, and I can't do anything about the singing, so down those worm eggs go. And,
Hey, look, all right, buddy, I'll deal with this. You just see to those eggs. Make sure they don't come back out, okay? All right, I'm gonna go talk to these guys.
Oh, I wish they would.
Oh boy. All right, so I'm gonna walk over there, then I'm gonna whistle real loud to try to get these guys' attention, and I'm gonna tell them a thing or two. This is an H5 test. I did spend my disadvantage on the last roll, so this is just a plain old-fashioned roll plus 1. I rolled a 1, so we're not gonna do that. So I'm gonna spend a point of mirth to invoke my expertise, and
Can I do the pig call again?
that's really tempting, but I'm gonna challenge myself here to use my petty trait. And all right, let me roll again before I narrate here. Still not enough. Goodness gracious. You know what? We got more mirth. We're gonna spend it all, baby. We're gonna get this hit. The dice are not feeling me today. So I try the pig whistle, and then I try, just by pettiest tactic, I make comments about, just the way they styled their hair. And I'm like going from guy to guy, just trying to make comments, tapping them on the shoulder, just trying to get their attention. But maybe they're a little bit overserved. Maybe they are just too loud for me to make an impact. Maybe they just are ignoring me, but I cannot get them. So I just stomp back to the table. Where's that dog when you need him? These guys are never going to shut up. So now we both got to take disadvantage forward again, unfortunately.
All right.
But luckily, we've reached the end of the feast here. So the only thing the singing might do is upset our night's rest.
I've already got disadvantage on the rest.
Oh boy, it's looking a little rough here. So I would say, I imagine we kind of relax a little bit, try to have a conversation over the din of these guys just singing. And finally, I'm just like, all right, you ready to go check out the accommodations? I'm bushed.
Yes, I think I'm going to need to lie down after that last course.
So now we move on to the rest phase, which is just much like the Journey's End phase. It's just kind of a summary of how and if we're able to rest at the end, and if we need to recover. It's been, we haven't had too hard of a go of it this session, so we don't have too much to recover. But we do take disadvantage, which means, again, like I said before, when you're rolling on a table, it's just whichever result is the worst. And in this case, a lower roll is typically going to be pretty bad. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and roll first if you don't mind. So, all right. So the rooms are I think they're quite accommodating. Maybe there's little magical symbols and pictures here to reflect the religious atmosphere of the town that we're in. And, I throw on my piggy PJs, button them up, hop into bed, blow out the candle. Let's see what happens next.
And I got a 1. Something at the end is disturbing your sleep.
Oh, I think we know what that is.
Yeah, I don't think we need to roll on the event table. I think we know it's the singing.
Yeah. So in this case, you'd use the singing, which is another H5 to test, but instead of the consequences listed on that table, you either take it +1 morale as you're able to get back to sleep, or -1 morale because they just keep singing and waking us up.
All right.
So what are you going to do about these rowdy singers for hopefully for the last time?
So I kind of toss and turn for a while trying to get some sleep, but the combination of those worm eggs at the end and what of that port I drank and the singing, couldn't they at least be on key?
Yeah, it seems like they've gotten into some weird yodeling now.
Oh, it's awful. It's horrible. I'm going to go see if I can stop them. I go stomp downstairs and stomp over to the, bar and make myself as big and intimidating as any grumpy hobbit can.
We don't say that word.
Oh, sorry. Halfling.
Thank you. Please don't sue us. Just kidding.
Grumpy halfling can. And please, gentlemen, we are trying to sleep. And I got a 3 + 1 is 4.
Can you use your mirth to reroll? Are you out of mirth?
Just trying to think of how either any of my traits would help with this.
What's your personality? I mean, I've missed it when you said at the beginning. So what is your personality trait?
Personality is genteel.
Oh, genteel. Ooh, yes.
Which is kind of a disadvantage in this case.
I mean,
these ruffians. I suppose. Oh, okay. I'll try. All right. I'll use a point of mirth. Try to use my genteel manners. Suppose you could say. I pull myself up on top of the bar so I can look these fellows in the eye. Actually, look down on them a little bit from up here. Rather unusual perspective for me, so I enjoy it for a moment. Um, gentlemen, have you not heard of a lights out hour? Or what do they call it? A curfew, perhaps. Some sort of ordinance where when people are trying to sleep, we are quiet so that the people trying to sleep can get their rest, which is very badly needed, I'm sure.
They're kind of looking at each other, almost like they're tabulating what you're like the wheels are turning as you're saying this, as if they'd never considered it before.
And I got a 1.
They're like, wait, yeah, you go ahead, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, so I make the speech. They're all kind of quiet. They're kind of thinking about it. Yes, like that. Thank you so much. Thank you. And as I'm going to get off the bar, I trip over a mug.
Left by
and
Biff, of course.
Plant into a bowl of worm caviar. Biff happens to be picking himself up right at this moment and lets out a raucous, ah! Oh, Horatio! Oh, that was just like me it was! Oh, and the whole crowd starts laughing and singing, and I...
This reminds me of my favorite song, The Halfling Fell Over the Bar.
Drunk and slobby and drunk and slobby and he tripped and fell over the bar. As I just brush it all off and oh goodness me, and stomp back upstairs.
As you pass by my room, you hear the contented snoring of your goblin companion, because even with the disadvantage, I rolled a 5.
Okay, there we go. Lose my point. All right, and I just go back and toss and turn. Just have a terrible night's sleep.
You poor man. Okay, so, well, first of all, that was awesome. And at this phase in the game, we would kind of make a decision if we were going to go on to the next inn, or if we were going to kind of end it for now with a bit of an epilogue. And you want to, if it's okay with you, Matt, I think we can kind of leave it, with a little cliffhanger here, because maybe we'll get back to this adventure one day. And are you okay with that? And we'll just kind of break here, and then, all right, great. Yeah, so that's the Broken Cask Society. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My thanks again to Matt for joining me. He always does an awesome job. And if you want to learn more about the game, make sure you click the link in the doobly-doo. And if you have any questions, make sure to comment or head to shorelessguys.com, and you can send us an email and ask us a question there. Thanks, guys.